Thank you. Welcome, and thank you everybody for being here this evening. May is Mental Health Month. It's a time dedicated to breaking down the stigma around mental health, providing education, highlighting community resources. Last year, millions of Americans faced the reality of living with mental health condition. When individuals suffer mental health, there is an impact on everybody around them. I think we all have family members, spouses, children, coworkers, or neighbors that have had some issues. Undoubtedly, mental health has an impact on our entire community's well-being. Tonight, you are here because of the Fargo Cass Public Health, the Fargo Police Department, and 463 Foundation are premiering Faces of Suicide. This is the second suicide prevention public service announcement to come out with this unique partnership. We have young people, Liam, Bella, Caden, Eli, and Nolan, that you're going to see on these faces. And when you see on them, I want you to think about if you were the parent, a relative, a sister, brother of one of these people, how would you feel? Because it comes to me is that it's a unique feeling in which you feel very sad that these beautiful young people left life in such an early state. Could have we done something different then? Could we reduce the stigma and mental health issues in every possible way? Can we decrease the likelihood they will ask, or decreasing the likelihood people will ask for help, but can we make them ask for help? Oftentimes there's stigma and discrimination related to mental health issues contribute to making the symptoms worse for those who are suffering. There is no shame in needing help from others. In fact, I believe that support is a sign of strength. Reducing the stigma related to mental health will help individuals feel more comfortable talking to others and easing asking for help when needed. I often think about this crazy thing we all carry nowadays, which is a cell phone. And oftentimes when I turn to my child, my son, my daughter, and say, let's talk, they're distracted by a phone. They oftentimes don't communicate with us and don't tell us what's happening. And it's a simple question sometimes you ask, hey, how you doing? And how many of us, listen to our children or talk to our children and realize they're not telling me the whole truth? Because they say, everything's fine, Dad, everything's fine. And we want to believe them because we want to believe everything is fine. But we don't know the depth of their feelings, the depth of what's going on. And to me, being a teenager now is far more difficult than it's ever been. You have cell phones, you have social, you have so many things going on. And your parents want you to do well and they hope you're doing well. But sometimes in the busyness of what goes on in the world, maybe we didn't listen quite hard enough, or maybe we didn't see it. Maybe they feel that if they tell you what they're feeling, you'll be horrified or have a problem with what they're telling you. But all of us who have anything to do with anybody who has any mental health issue want to help. We want to do something that will help anybody that's having an issue. We don't want them to feel embarrassed that they're asking for help. And we want them to feel that mental health is one of those things that we all nurture and try to help. There is no question that if the mental health of your community is healthy, then people do better. People are able to work, play, go to school, do the things they need to do. But they oftentimes need to cry out for help, and we have to be there to give them. Together during this month, what we'd like to do is normalize mental health conditions in our society. Encourage people to talk about seeking help in their times of need. Put emphasis on prevention. Provide individuals with tools they need to guide them through life's crisis situations. And never give up hope. Let us never give up hope on our children or our people that need help. Let us know that somewhere, someplace, we perhaps can help change the course of somebody's life. Thank you again for joining us tonight and appreciate you showing up. Thank you.
Good evening. Sorry about that. Have to get it down to my height here. My name's Arlette Preston, and I am a member of the City Commission. I also have a nursing background, so this whole issue of mental health and suicide is an issue that's very dear to my heart. Suicide can certainly be a difficult topic to talk about, and it can even be more difficult to talk with someone, a loved one perhaps, who you're concerned about. Suicide is a major public health concern which has lasting impact on our community. It's so very important to raise awareness and provide tools to assist in recognizing and addressing suicidal risks. And that's why I'm so thrilled to be part of this evening. There are some items that this group has developed and has talked about can be tools for addressing and educating people. First of all, we must be aware. Every 2 years, the youth in our community are surveyed. And in 2021, 35% of students felt sad or hopeless almost every day for more than 2 weeks in a row. Slightly over 17% of our youth had actually considered attempting suicide during the preceding 12 months. Suicide is the second leading cause of death for individuals aged 10 to 14. Also, lives could be saved by recognizing the warning signs. Those signs can include withdrawal from activities, changes in eating or sleeping habits, and a person just being more irritable or emotional. Suicidal behavior is complex and there's no one single cause, so it's difficult to recognize at times. It does not discriminate. People of all genders, ages, ethnicities, and income levels can be at risk. So many of us, too many of us, have been impacted by suicide. In my family, my brother-in-law completed suicide over 20 years ago, and I have personally witnessed the impact on his widowed wife, who's my sister, and their 2 children. His son was 13 when it happened, and 15, the daughter was 15. And I just had a conversation with them real recently, and they still talk about it with deep hurt. It can and does have a lasting impact on people. We need to do as much as possible to help avoid this tragedy. So what we're doing tonight hopefully will help get us there. Thank you.
Good evening. I wanted to provide you with a brief background on how we got to where we are tonight with the creation of this video. As the world, and specifically our community, began recovering from the pandemic, it became obvious to us in law enforcement that we were quickly facing another emerging crisis surrounding mental health. Locally, we have always been blessed with a great relationship with our school districts, and we often collaborated by bringing educational and motivational speakers into the schools through assemblies on a variety of topics based off of current concerns and community needs. Well, after the pandemic, understandably, the school districts were reluctant to host school-wide assemblies again. So when the need to provide education and resources to our community, specifically our young people, on this topic of mental health, we had to think outside of the box when it came to our platform. Within the Fargo Police Department, we were very blessed to have progressive and compassionate thinkers like Michael Bloom and Samantha Lasham, who worked tirelessly with community partners to come up with our BreakTheSilenceTogether.org campaign, where we created an educational video for young people on the topic of suicide prevention, with the goal of normalizing conversations around mental health. It was through this initiative that I was introduced to an amazing family who I am honored and humbled to know and work with. A family who took their tragedy and turned it into a mission. Out of their devastation and determination came the 463 Foundation in honor of their son, Liam. Todd and Elizabeth Med were determined to make sure that the momentum that came from the Break the Silence Together video didn't stop. Through their passion and grit, another collaboration began between the 463 Foundation, the Fargo Police Department, and Fargo Cass Public Health, specifically their mental health coordinator. This video that you'll be watching here tonight is the second public service announcement that we have collectively created together with the hopes of not stopping anytime soon. The first PSA was on the topic of assisting teens with developing a safety plan so that in the moment of crisis, they can recall that they have value and that there are people who are there for them. Tonight's video was created to break through stereotypes associated around suicide, but more importantly, to normalize conversations around mental health and to make our community aware that there is help and that no feeling is final. We at the Fargo Police Department are committed to this community in keeping you safe, not only physically, but emotionally as well.
Good evening. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the inspiration behind the video that you're about to watch tonight. The inspiration developed from a conversation that I had with an area parent last fall. We talked about our children and teens, and I shared Liam's story. I shared who he was and that he had died by suicide. We discussed mental health, and we talked about our foundation and our mission of our foundation. That parent went on to list the traits of their teen: athlete, good student, down to earth, good friend group, and caring and supportive family. They believed that while our messaging was important, it didn't apply to their family and to their teen, and therefore they didn't feel it necessary or needed to hear or to talk about our conversations. After that, I immediately called my amazing partners, Melissa and Sergeant Jacobsen, and shared what I thought our next PSA should reflect. The kids and teens in this video are every kid and teen. They are athletes, artists, students, friends, sons and daughters. These kids and teens are just like the kids and teens that all of us know and love. Our goal is to be proactive and to teach that hard conversations, while awkward and scary, are necessary to have even if you don't suspect that your child and teen are suffering. There is no one comprehensive set of looks that someone suffering from mental health has. There's no one look to suicide. You can't tell just by what's going on the outside what someone's portraying if someone is struggling or contemplating ending their life. And that can be really scary for all of us to think that this can happen to anyone. And while this video is somber, we're not approaching the topic of mental health and suicide from a place of fear. But instead, we created this video to shed light on the darkest of places so hope can bloom. We can stop this epidemic and we can end suicide once and for all. But to do that, we must face that fear of stigma. We must be open and honest and vulnerable and talk about the hard things. Thank you.
My name is Melissa Markegard. I work at Fargo Cass Public Health as the mental health coordinator. On behalf of the Fargo Police Department and the 463 Foundation, I would like to thank the family members and friends who so willingly said yes to being a part of Faces of Suicide. The amount of trust you put in us to make sure that your loved one is respected and honored, that trust is truly very remarkable. And we are so thankful that you came alongside of us to bring this important message to our community. Members of the media, thank you for being here tonight, this evening, to assist us in bringing this message to the masses. To each of you in this room, thank you for being partners with us in this fight against suicide. We all have the same goal today and every single day: to reach individuals and save as many lives as we can. A special thank you to Ryan Green, he's right here, videotaping us. A special thank you to Ryan. He is with the City of Fargo's communication team. He worked tirelessly to get this right, and for that we are so appreciative. Faces of Suicide will be available on the 463 Foundation, Fargo Cass Public Health, and Fargo Police Department's Facebook page tonight at 7 o'clock. Well, it should be live actually now. Don't go to it now. We'll watch it and then you can go to it. We would be grateful if each of you in this room chose to share that on your own personal social media. And if you are here tonight or you're listening later on, please know that there is hope and there is help available by calling the Suicide Prevention and Crisis Lifeline at 988. They're available 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Thank you again for joining us tonight.